It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show. Come on in, everybody. Welcome in. We're excited that you're joining us on this episode. If you would do us a favor, like and subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like. I'm Jeff. He's Nick. We're going a little bit remote today. And man, what a tremendous day. We live streamed the Cowboys versus Cardinals last night. And we were really depressed when we cut off that live feed. But I'll tell you this, man. Just when you think things have closed and we're closing the chapter on the season and the Cowboys are done for, there's a little that hope we talked about at the trade deadline today. So we may talk about the game, we may not, because it was pretty depressing, honestly. Last night it was. Old Dak, old problems peeking their head up with turnovers and penalties and just mental mistakes. Guys running free in the secondary, running backs running free, not as much. We did get some pressure, but look, Cowboys lost to the Cardinals at Dallas. It was one of those games that happens almost every year where they looked not ready to go.
Third time this year, and we've played 9 games. That's a problem.
But it's the first time at home.
Fair. That's fair. And I think that's the most troubling thing is Dak, especially against these teams that he sees with some frequency, is really, really, really problematic. That the offense, the thing that everyone keeps saying, at least they're going to score 30 a game. At least and I think they were averaging 40 a game at home or something crazy. So I mean, it's really bad. Again, the live stream was absolutely depressing. That got away real quick. But hey, man, we got NFL trade deadline though.
Yeah, NFL trade deadline day. It's like a second Christmas almost. It's gotten better over the years. Before, in the past, it was pretty boring on NFL trade deadline today or trade deadline day, but not today, man. Lots of excitement. So let's get right into the Cowboys' big trade of the day. And no, I'm not talking about Logan Wilson.
I was about to say.
That was in the wee hours of the night. And I told you on the live stream, if it was a big trade, they would wait to announce it.
Yeah.
But if it was a small trade, it would happen in the middle of the night. So honestly, the Cowboys give up a 7th rounder and they get Logan Wilson, which is really a nothing burger trade. It's like, okay, Logan's shown some flashes of good play. We'll give up a 7th rounder, but he automatically comes your best linebacker on your team, which is kind of more depressing. But that's not the trade we want to talk about. I'll let you, say what you want about Logan Wilson. But the big trade that Quinnen Williams is a Dallas Cowboy and goes from the Jets to the Cowboys. We trade Mozzie Smith, a 2026 second-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick is the Cowboys pick, not the Packers pick. And we get Quinnen Williams. Let me know your thoughts, Nick.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things to unpack here. Now, we were talking offline, and I just want to, preface this by saying Quinnen Williams instantly becomes the best defensive player you have. It's almost, not even almost, I don't think there's a debate in that period. I guess someone may be able to make an argument somewhere. I don't know who that would be. I mean, I think the conversation would be right now, who's been the most consistently good defensive player. It's probably Izaraku or maybe Osi Odigizua. Probably one of those two. But regardless, Quinnen Williams is instantly your best defensive player. Let me start there. Hard stop, no disagreement. I don't like this trade for the Dallas Cowboys. I think if Dallas is giving up 35 a game right now, and I don't know the exact number, I'll get it in a second, but if Dallas is giving up 35 a game, let's just say, I think for the rest of the season, they continue to give up 35 a game. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see how a defensive tackle, even one that's playing really well, there's some PFF grades. He ranks 7th in PFF among all defensive tackles. He's 1st in sacks. He's 1st in forced fumbles. He's top 5 in pressures. So this is a game wrecker at the defensive tackle position. I
Yeah,
don't go ahead.
go ahead. No, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
I just don't think that with the absolute ineptitude behind him, that this makes the defense any better.
Well, and that's where we're going to disagree because when you add an all-pro caliber player, some were kind of even puzzled that Quentin Williams was available. But the Jets having a fire sale made him available.
Mhm,
But for me, this is the way I look at it. Um, yeah, you gave up a second round pick in 2026 and a first round in 2027. Mozzie Smith is irrelevant, I think, in the discussion. But you instantly have paired now Quentin Williams with Kenny Clark, and you have the best defensive tackle duo in football. Now I
mhm,
know what you're saying. You're saying, well, how much does it make the defense better? Well, we're not going to know that this year, and here's why. You got two backup safeties playing. You got two backup linebackers playing big minutes. You got backup corners right now this year playing the majority of the time. You don't really know what this defense is other than terrible because of, even when Diggs coming off the injury and Bland coming off the injury, they're not back to full health. We don't know what's going to happen with Diggs. But if you say the that they didn't get any better, I will definitely challenge you on that because here's the thing, it's not just for this year because Quentin Williams is under contract for 2 more years and I don't feel like, he's been got a lot of miles on him for lack of a better term playing with the Jets. I think he's still got 3 or 4 good years left in him. But now you start talking about okay, we've got Quentin Williams, we got Kenny Clark. He's going to provide some pressure from the inside. We got Ezaraku coming alive, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
and whoever's going to be on that other side, whether it's Houston or it's Fowler or whoever it's going to be, Sam Williams on the other side.
mhm.
Now you're talking about something that might be able to put sustained pressures in a game. The question will be: is Diggs coming back? Will Bland return to form? Can we get a real safety in here? Let alone our starters back in safety, which we both agree we have terrible safety and linebacker play. So from
Yep.
that standpoint, when you look at okay, are they going to give up less points this year? With all of those things in consideration, probably not. But you are much better place in for next year and the year after that because he's under contract. So I look at it differently. I will say that I like this trade, and I don't think there's anybody else they could have got today that was available. If we read the tea leaves right, Max Crosby wasn't available according to the
Right,
Raiders.
right.
Now Trey Hendrickson maybe was available, but nobody got Trey Hendrickson, so the price must have been a little bit too high.
Yep.
So I differ with you on this because I don't think this year's defense will be much better, but the building blocks are there to be much better next year.
Yeah, and if we're gonna take that approach of this is kind of a right now slash future deal, I think then you have to wait and see what that pick becomes. The picks now then matter. If the second pick, hopefully the Cowboys win some games and the second pick isn't so bad. Um, but if this keeps going the way that the schedule is lining up, the way that they've looked, and the Cowboys win 4 games, meaning they have a top 10 pick, that means you're picking, let's just say 37, 38, 39 in that second round. That's a value pick. And then, of course, we'll wait and see what happens next year. I think my take on this, you talked about the money, and you made this point. I just want to kind of reiterate it. Next year, he's got a $21.7 million cap hit, Quentin Williams. And in 27, he's got a $25.5 million cap hit. There is a potential out between the 26 and the 27 season that would result in no dead cap. So it's very team friendly. And so if you
Got
look at the
flexibility.
money, right? So the money that you were going to pay Micah, and now I've got uh Quentin Williams, I've got Kenny Clark, and I've got one first round draft pick essentially. Let's just call it that. Um, from a on paper standpoint, great. A plus, just on paper, you can't be upset. Again, the problem is at some point they got to get on the field and start playing these games. Matt Eberflus is still the defensive coordinator. Jerry Jones and Will McClay in the front office have not shown, and you talked about it last night during the live show, they can't draft defense. You just traded for a linebacker that, albeit upgrades your linebacking core, but you traded to a team that's the only team worse than you defensively this year. So yes, it's an upgrade, but you went to the only place worse than yourself to get it. These are just all things that make me feel like I don't know how to be positive about the defense. The offense, clearly they know how to draft. There is littered draft picks all through the rounds that show you they know how to draft well offensively. Defensively, this is just a team that doesn't seem to know how to get it done. And you're right, because I know what the next point's going to be. What do they do then to make it better? Fire everybody.
Well, here I'll go there in a second. Here's what I'll say about the state of the defense. You look at what they are now, okay? And you take Kenneth Murray off the field, you take Sanborn off the field, and you put in Logan Wilson and Overshown, because he'll be coming back after the bye. So you immediately have upgraded your linebackers, right? Agreed?
Significantly, right.
Okay.
Agreed.
You get your starting safeties back, which is, you would agree that it's an upgrade of what they currently have playing safety.
Sure.
Even though it's still terrible, right?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. You also get Revel back, cornerback rookie that they're very high on, Siobhan Revel.
Yep.
You get Kalen Carson, another defensive back that they're high on, back, and you get Elam off the field, and Bland, we're not sure what will happen there. But if he even comes back to 3/4 of the way he was, towards the end of the season and into next year, and let's say you have Diggs come back from injury, they've got him on IR. So if you add Diggs and Bland, you add our starting safeties, Hooker and Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. You add Logan Wilson and Overshown at linebacker, and you got Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark, Ezeraku, and Fowler, whoever, Clowney, and all those guys. That is much better than what you've got right now. And I think you have significantly now limited where you have to go in the offseason. We got to go DB, linebacker, and that's it, right? Maybe multiples of those. But here's the thing that I will say about the Cowboys drafting. I went through the whole litany of the last 5 years of defensive draft picks for the Cowboys. And it was like 4 out of 26 or something like that they actually made an impact. I don't trust Jerry Jones with draft picks.
Yeah.
Unless it's an obvious offensive weapon that they go get. Yeah. They've missed on some offensive linemen. They missed defense a lot. They did get Micah. That's one that they hit on, but they traded him. So here's the thing. I'm not that scared of trading the draft picks because this team's going to mess them up anyway on defense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's you can't argue that point because you got a lot of years, you got a decade of history that shows they can't do this defensively. Offensively, I agree. And I think, just want to go back to the point that the roster that you just laid out on defense sounds wonderful. The problem is the dude with the headset on. I don't think it matters because what I saw last night,
this year,
schematically, right? Yeah, this year. What I saw last night, schematically.
Yeah, in my theory, he's not back next year.
Okay, and I hope he can't be, right? He better not be. He better not make it through the end of the year. But it looks like he's lost that locker room. It wasn't schematically sucks. There were so many times that you called out on the replay. Just look at the effort of insert number of player here. They're not even trying to get off blocks. They're not chasing the ball. There's no gang tackling. There's none of the things that we've heard the cliche defensive terms all the time just isn't happening with this defense. So if you're telling me this is a great move for the future, I agree. This is potentially an anchor point for your defense. If you're saying this makes us better today, I want to be hopeful. I really do. but you might be drinking from the Kool-Aid just a little bit to think that
No, it does
I
make you better today. You added an all-pro defensive tackle. Dude,
with the
there's
guy that can't
nobody.
coach.
It doesn't matter. Listen, I'll tell you this. These are grown men, okay? And if you need a coach to motivate you at this point, you got problem, okay? And I'll tell you this, as a person who's coached people, the real talented ones you don't really need to talk to very much, right? You just got to make sure they stay in the right lane and get their headspace correct. It's it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's. That's the famous phrase, right? And
Yeah,
I'll tell
yeah.
Eberflus is awful. He should be out of here. Everybody agrees to that at this point.
Hmm.
But when you add more talent to a team and two guys that have done it at a significant level, obviously Quinnen Williams way more than Logan Wilson,
Right.
but but they're both way elevated the talent on your team. So yes, what I'm saying is this makes us better now and the next couple years. And there can't be an argument about that. Now you can say maybe they overpaid if you want, but what I'm saying is the talent level is now better than it was yesterday.
So I just looked. They're giving up 30.8 points per game right now, 31st in the league. So second to last, only team worse is Cincy. If everything you just said
Hmm.
being equal to the conversation, if for the rest of the season they continue to give up 30 a game, and next season they give up 28 to 30 a game, what I guess my question to you is, what is this trade? Is it possible in your eyes for this trade to be a failure?
Yeah. I mean, there's always a possibility, but I think what what we can't be is unfair to Jerry Jones. We can't say we need you to make this team better. He goes out and makes a move to make the team better, and then we criticize the way he did it or how he did it so much, like put it under a microscope. Now, look, there are bad trades in the NFL, and if we're sitting here debating this, I saw a lot of one way or the other on this. There's people that give it an F. There's people that give it an A, a B. People doing a happy dance because they got Quinnen Williams. So it's all over the map. But in what I'm saying, strictly from personnel, forget Eberflus. You have upgraded your talent on the defense, and you can't really argue that. Now, what my rationale is, well, who they would draft with the second round pick next year. I mean, they drafted Smith, Mozzie
Yeah.
Smith. So I don't, I cannot believe that they did that, right? So I don't trust them when it comes to the draft on the defensive side of the ball. And for that reason, I would rather give up that resource because they're not going to change the GM, guys. They're not going to do it. They're just not, guys. They're not. It's not the guy making the decisions not changing.
Right.
So forget that. So
Yeah.
my point is, I would rather them go out and get players that are proving it and still have fire and gas in the tank for 3 years or so
Mm.
than hit or miss on the draft because they can't hit on defensive players. It's rare for them. It's a less than 20% chance that they hit on a defensive player in the draft. And I would rather trade those picks for proven players.
Yeah, and I think I just you're right. There is no argument to be made that they did not upgrade the talent on the defensive side of the ball. Anyone that is going to say that, and I'm sure we will get it somewhere in the comments. The only immediate thing I can think of that you might have a conversation in is as a defensive tackle his age in 2022 and 2023 he graded out over 90 in PFF, talking about Quinnen Williams. Last year he graded in the the high 60s, so a significant drop. And then so far this year he's in the high 70s, grading back to, maybe last year was an outlier. It's a bad Jets team, it's a bad defense. They're playing from behind a lot, so a lot of teams are running the ball and not a lot of chance to get pressure. Just all those things we know to be true. So objectively, the talent on the defense just got significantly better from what it was. There's no argument there. I think the second point that you made there was when Jerry does anything, it's scrutinized. It doesn't matter. No one looks at it objectively. It's Jerry Jones did this. This sucks. From my perspective, he's lost the right for anyone to feel any differently. They're going on 30 years of not even making a title game, let alone the
Right.
Super Bowl. Well, I mean, it's hard for people. It's hard for me to then sit back, even as what I consider to be a diehard Cowboys. There's nothing the Cowboys can do that's not going to make me want to cheer for them. I will never be a supporter of another team. I've tried. It doesn't work. Um, but he's lost it. Jerry Jones has lost me as an ability to have faith in the decisions he makes. Upgrade defensively,
Yeah.
sure, but is it
Yeah, but
going to lead to championships?
okay. Nothing they have done over the last 30 years has led to championships. That doesn't mean they haven't done some things right. So
Sure.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is he's made some bonehead trades. 2 number ones for Joey Galloway, 2 number ones for Roy Williams, the receiver from
Yep.
Detroit. Just you can go on and talk about bad decisions that Jerry Jones and the front office has made. What I'm saying, and I'm the first one to throw them under the bus when they do something stupid. It's been 30 years again of no championship window,
Yep.
of all the constant things year after year. It leaves Cowboy fans frustrated. But when he goes out and does something halfway decent or positive, we
Yeah.
can't then jump to the worst possible conclusion because to that logic, short of Max Crosby today, nothing would have satisfied of the Cowboy fans.
I
And
think, yeah, that's right.
that's what I'm saying is yes, he doesn't get benefit of the doubt. That's gone a long time ago. And but you have to say this. They actually said something and then followed through with it. And that's rare for the Cowboys. Jerry will lead us down this rabbit hole and then tell us, no, that's not a rabbit hole, right? And so I'm just saying to you that they actually backed up what they said. And so I do give him credit for that. And this is a move that actually makes sense to me. And I can see it building to better things this year and mainly for the next 2 years after.
I really hope I'm wrong. And I think for next year, I get it. For next year, it's like I said, it's an anchor point. It's an anchor piece to a defense. There are some interesting free agents coming up. There's some good DBs in free agency. Now, again, Dallas doesn't typically spend in free agency, so I don't know how much that matters, but you've got some interesting names out there that I think can be interesting. Even now, today, I just told you this. Asante Samuel Jr. is been cleared to return. He's a free agent. He's someone that they can go sign right away. If you are talking about all those names and you now throw Asante Samuel in there, that's a low risk, high reward type player. I wouldn't imagine you'd have to pay much to get him on the roster. So if you're talking about going forward, yes, because I also think you then can dump Eberflus. And when you have an identity on defense, that will be instantly an improvement for the rest of this year. And I think that's what, and I'm curious to listen to the press conference tomorrow. Because Jerry's going to be on 105.3, I believe. I'm curious to see because Jerry, man, he's a salesman. He's gonna sell it. I think he's not going to sell it as a future move. I think he's going to make sure to highlight this makes us better 2 years, 3 years down the road. But I think he's going to sell the bill of goods that this makes us better right now. And I don't think this goes back to what I said at the beginning. They are still going to be a really bad defense for the rest of this year.
Yeah, but that was going to be the case no matter who you brought in. You could have brought in Lawrence Taylor. I mean, they had Micah and they sucked last year.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that. So Micah being on this team makes them slightly better, but they're still going to give up 27 points, 28 points, and that's the real problem here. And Jerry's already laid the groundwork for his argument. He said the trades he had in his mind will make us better now and in the
Right.
future. He already
Right.
laid that groundwork, and
Yep.
I happen to agree with him on this. It does make us better now because we couldn't be any worse. So, so it does technically make us better now, but I really like the deal because you have now the best defensive tackles in football. And if Ezaraku can keep coming with his development, then
Mm-hmm.
you have one side of your pass rush figured out.
Yeah.
And where nobody thinks Logan Wilson is awesome, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's now your best linebacker until
Yeah.
Overshone comes and proves something, right?
Right.
But
Right.
I promise you, Logan Wilson and Overshone is much better than Shamar James and Murray.
Kern Moore.
It's
Yeah.
it's those guys shouldn't. I mean, seriously, and no disrespect to them, but that it maybe they're thrown in the fire too early. Kenneth Murray was, you know, I think he was decent in Tennessee. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
Jack Sanborn, those guys, you've already got the Logan Wilson and Overshone. If you got those guys playing, you're miles ahead of where you've been. And so I think it's not a and I understand the other argument. I understand. Oh well, he's getting old. He's 27. He's
Yep.
28.
Yep.
He's only got a couple years left. And well, so Jerry might only have a couple years left. Jerry's old, man. He's got to win now. So he's doing everything he can. And I think
Yeah.
short of, like, again, Max Crosby or Hendrickson
Yep.
would have been awesome. Maybe even Bradley Chubb, or the Eagles got Jalen Phillips. And let's talk for a second, and we'll get into the other trades, but let's talk what Philly's doing.
Yep.
It seems like every year, Howie, I call him Howie. We're on first name basis.
Yeah.
GM circles around Jerry Jones.
All day. All day. It's insane what they did and what they give up, more specifically, to get these big upgrades, man. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it just keeps happening, right? They got Phillips from Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they got Jair Alexander.
Yep.
They picked up. So they're addressing their needs.
Also got
They always
also got Michael Carter.
Yeah. So they always seem to have a way to get the players that they need, and normally, and this is why I will applaud Jerry for doing something at the trade deadline. Normally we get a lot of lip service from Jerry and then nothing happens, right? And they're all sitting around going, "Look what the Eagles are doing. Look what these guys are doing." The difference is the Eagles are championship contenders, and they
Yep.
still find a way to get who they need. And that's something that I've never. I mean, you listen to Jerry, you listen to Steven, they always have, well, that cap, you got to choose when you're going to pay the piper and all this nonsense. The Eagles never seem to pay the piper.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's
So,
because they don't give the bad contracts. They don't ever get, I shouldn't say ever. They very rarely find themselves in a position to be behind cap money the way Dallas loves that kick the can down the road. Let's, redesign the deal, restructure the deal to give me more cap relief now, but eventually when it's almost like saying I'm going to set a fire that I know is going to explode 5 years from now and then say I've got this invisible cap explosion hanging over me. You're the one that caused it. If you don't put yourself in a position to constantly have to be out from behind this cap explosion, a la Philly, then you don't have to worry about it. And I think Roseman has done a tremendous job in that. They routinely let fan favorites and guys that have been tremendous contributors for their team walk away in free agency, or they trade them before they have to pay a salary that is going to be untenable in years 3 and 4. So to me, Howie Roseman, and I don't think this is a hot take, Howie Roseman is, if not the best, one of the top 3 GMs in all of football and possibly in all of sport. Philly has been very competitive and very relevant for a very, very long time.
yeah, and no disagreement from me. Only thing I'll say about, I mean, obviously the Eagles paid Jalen Hurts. They paid Brown, AJ Brown. They paid Devontae Smith. They're in a similar boat with who they paid, right? And I think every team has to kick the can down the road a little bit. I mean, that's part of the cap gymnastics that you have to do. But it just never ceases to amaze me that their flexibility is in our face every year. Now, a
Mm-hmm.
few years ago they had made some great moves and it didn't help them, right? he sharpens the
Mm-hmm.
pencil and makes even more moves and gets him to the Super Bowl and wins the championship. And so, yeah, I agree. I mean, Phillips is probably going to go in there and wreak havoc for him. I don't know about Jair Alexander. He's sort of been up and down. So, I like him as a player, but you don't know. It's not been real consistent play from him. But what about the Jets' other trade to the Colts for Sauce Gardner, 2 first-round picks? What do you think about that?
Man, this is the one that really caught my attention. At first glance, I said, "Oh man, that's a tremendous upgrade for the Colts. They're all in." I really loved it for the Colts just because I've enjoyed watching them play this year. I really like the way that they're a fun team to watch. And then as I started thinking about it, I really kind of felt like this is a really, really big move that they just made. In that, what you just said is I believe Daniel Jones is going to win me a championship because if you just traded away both of the first round picks that you have now this year, obviously they're already 7-2. I don't think that I mean that it's going to be tough for that to be a good draft pick anyway, especially with the addition of Sauce. So this wasn't going to be a high draft pick anyway. But if you're that sure about Daniel Jones that you're going to give away your next 2 first rounders, one, great for Daniel Jones, right? Somebody is Indiana Jones, not Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, who we saw 5 turnovers, can have stretches of tremendously great play. To me, 9 games, 7 games, 8 games, that's a stretch. There's nothing consistent about that. And even within that, he had a couple of real stinkers. So I love it for the fan base because what it's telling them is, hey, we're serious about this. We think we've got a contender here. In actuality, kind of like the Quentin Williams thing, I'm mortgaging the future, a little bit different, but I'm mortgaging the future for what I believe to be true. And man, that's a big gamble that they just made, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a steep price for Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner is not a dominant corner. He's not Deion Sanders. He's not create the turnovers. He's just solid, man. He's one of the best corners in the game, but 2 first-round picks. And like you said, it's kind of a cosign for Daniel Jones. It's like, hey, we're riding with Daniel Jones. He's our quarterback. And I think that that's pretty bold. Um, and I think Chris Ballard is the GM for the Colts, and he's done
Yeah.
this once before, going all in. It's escaping me right now. The trade he made, where he also did something very similar to this. But what I'll say is, I think 2 firsts for Sauce is a little steep, and Sauce just signed that extension, and he's paid, right? He just signed that extension that this offseason, right? The big
Yep.
contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to be there a while. But again, it's you got to applaud him saying, "Hey, I need a cornerback, and I'm going to go out and get the best one." In their mind, maybe Sertan has something to say about that. But I think they overpaid a little bit, and I would not have done that myself. I would have maybe gone a different route, maybe asked the Saints about Alontae Taylor or something like that. Somebody who was not going to cost me a lot. Um, but it's a bold move for sure, and time will tell whether that works out for them. But if you're asking me, would I have given up 2 1s for Sauce? I would have gave up one, and maybe something else. But like you said, that one's going to be basically a 2
Yeah.
this year. So
Yep.
so maybe it's not terrible. It's to me, when I first saw it, my reaction was that's a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, what it's slightly less. I guess if you take it the other side of that, or if you start doing the comps to other trades, it's slightly like maybe more than slightly because Kenny Clark is really good, but it's not much different than the package for Micah Parsons.
no, it's not.
And Micah Parsons is, I mean, all due respect to Sauce Gardner, and just look at just positionally, if you value defensive ends versus cornerbacks, there is a steep difference in salary, in compensation, in ability to influence game. So yeah, to say that Micah went for 2 first and Kenny Clark and Sauce went for 2 first, I agree with you. It's a steep price to pay, and again, I think if you make it to an AFC title game, if you win the division, if you're competitive for the next 2 seasons, no one's going to look back and say too much given up. But I think in the immediate, too much for Sauce.
Yeah, and we talked about the Eagles trades, but the specifics of the trades we didn't give, and I want to talk about that. So they only gave up a third round pick for Phillips,
That's right. Yep.
and you're like, why wouldn't the Cowboys? I mean, did the Cowboys not know that that was the price tag for him? Because if
Hmm.
you could add Phillips and Williams,
Yep.
now we're talking about a day. And then for Jair Alexander, I think they gave up a sixth round pick.
6th round pick.
So
That's right.
so nothing really of consequence to land. I mean, I guess third round pick, is something. But we had two receivers in two other big trades. The Raiders traded Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars.
Yep.
Jaguars,
Jaguars.
yeah, and they gave up a fourth and a sixth pick for Jacoby Myers.
I think that's good package. That's a good comp package for his level. I think it makes them better. Like you like to say, I don't think you're finding the Jacoby Myers in the 4th or 6th round, not with any consistency. And look, man, they're having I think a sneakily good season to where something like that is a really low risk, high reward type move.
And in the redundancy department, the Saints traded Shaheed to the Seahawks for a fourth and a fifth round pick, I guess. So 1 round better for Shaheed to the Seahawks. But man, that makes that Seahawks receiving core scary good.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba having, if not the best season for a receiver. You've had some injuries. Justin Jefferson has not looked the same. Jamar Chase doesn't have a quarterback. So right now today, if you're asking me to just look at what this season has been, it's really tough to say that Jackson hasn't been the best receiver in football this year. Um, Horton, the rookie, has looked very good. The dude's a touchdown scoring machine. And now you're adding Rashid Shaheed to that mix with they got Charbonnet and Walker running back there. This is and Sam Darnold is now quietly number 3 in MVP odds. That is a really, really good offense in a phenomenal division. That division is a buzzsaw, man. So a lot of fun for the league, and I think it's a great move for Seattle.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Seattle is moving up that list of teams you don't want to face. They are one of the best teams in the NFL right now, and the
Yep.
way they're playing is just unexpected. Again, you talked about Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold has found himself, man, and man, he is playing lights out. And again, yes, at an MVP level. Any other trades you want to mention from trade day? We've talked about the major ones. Any other ones you want to talk about?
No, I think I just want to double back to this point about the Eagles, just because we talked about it, and I think it's important to bring up, because I pulled the salary cap here. Next year, Jalen Hurts, $31 million cap hit. AJ Brown, $23 million cap hit. Devontae Smith, $10 million cap hit. Saquon Barkley, $9.8 million cap hit. So just to the kicking the can down the road, because if you look at the last year of Jalen Hurts' contract, as of right now, it's a $97 million cap hit. So the salary gymnastics that you talk about are alive and well. I just want to,
Now wait. You said the Eagles didn't kick the can down the road.
that's why, because I know they're
That's
coming.
more like a barrel. They're kicking the barrel down the road. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. Now it is in 2030, and we know they'll do all kinds of trickery before then. Excuse me.
Howie's
Well,
like, I'll be gone by then, so
yeah,
they
he'll be
can
gone.
deal with it.
It's 2029, but it's $97.5 million base salary, cap hit for Jalen Hurts. So
Obviously, they'll restructure that.
of
That
course, of course.
and he may. Who knows? Is he going to be playing in 2030? Hopefully, he will. But
Hopefully he will. Yeah, but I can hear the Cowboys fans in the comments coming for me already. So I want to get ahead of it.
yeah,
I
they
will
should
punt
come
on
for
that
you with
take.
that nonsense. And every team does it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
It just doesn't
we've
seem to
had
hurt them.
way too much Eagles talk on this podcast today. Way too
Yeah.
much Eagles talk. So again, for me, I think the Quinnen Williams trade, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
It's not like I would have been happier had we landed Max Crosby, but I really like Quinnen Williams, and I do feel like one thing we're not really talking about is what the emotional lift can be to a team where you say, okay, at least we're bringing in somebody who's done it at the highest of levels, right? As far as
Yeah.
all pro. He got real Quinnen Williams got real sideways with the Jets
Yeah.
when they didn't bring Aaron Rodgers back, when they didn't, bring Devontae Adams back. He's like, well, hey, now we're not even worried about winning. And
Yeah.
so I think that there's a lot of that. Same with Logan Williams or Logan Wilson, on the Bengals.
Yeah.
He had a rookie just push him for playing time, and man, you know, I get that, but I'm okay. Obviously, with the trades they made today, I don't feel like we've mortgaged the future for Quinnen Williams. I think he will make us better now, but mainly then over the next couple years. And you have some cap flexibility still. And are they going to sign George Pickens? You've said all along you don't want them to sign George Pickens. I said I would like to see that happen because if our defense is not going to be dynamic, our offense must be dynamic. And right now, our offensive line doesn't look, great. Dak's a little unsettled back there. He had a terrible day yesterday, as we talked about, overthrowing people, not sure when to run. Um, they didn't run Javonte Williams enough early. Didn't score any points in the first half offense. It looked
Right.
like Dak from 4 years ago, right? Coming off or whenever he came off the
Came
leg
off the
injury,
injury.
the
Yep.
first one.
Yep.
And I'll just say this: there's nothing more to say about the defense other than if they keep Eberflus much longer. That's the thing I worry about with this trade is like, do they start playing better and they keep Eberflus? And Jerry's like, see, we told you. But if you break down the film, and there's a lot of guys out there that are film guys that'll break it down for you way better than I could ever do it, so I don't even try. If you watch them and they talk about how bad the scheme is, but what's worse than the scheme is how the players execute the scheme.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So I just don't want to mince any words here. I am not a fan of Matt Eberflus as defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. He should be gone. I am a fan of getting better talent on this team, no matter who the defensive coordinator is. So, but I know you don't love the trade. I don't love it, but I like it.
Okay, that's fair. I think there's a definite wait and see approach. Hopefully you're right, and I think the roster that you laid out is, if nothing else, and we keep saying it, it's just a little bit of hope. It's a little bit of hope that it can be a little bit better.
Well, Nick, I do have some great news. I
I'm,
mean, I have some fantastic news.
all right, I'm ready.
The Cowboys can't lose next week.
It's not
It's a
a
bye.
prediction. It's it's not a
Yeah.
prediction. It's a
Yeah.
spoiler.
They can't lose next week, so it can't get worse next week unless somebody gets injured at practice. And
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
was
knock
about to
on
say,
something
man,
so I don't.
you're jinxing
Yeah.
us because it can, it can, if they can find a way, they will.
So that's what we'll put a bow on our NFL trade deadline day talk and Cowboys versus Cardinal talk. There's nothing really much left to talk about on that game. But listen, exciting day for the NFL, for these players, moving teams. Maybe not so much. Some of them are happy. Some of them probably aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going from the Jets to the Cowboys. I guess you feel good about that because your visibility at least goes up, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but we're excited. I'm excited to see what happens with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark paired together. I'm excited to get some of these players back that have been injured, and so we'll see what happens. But realistically, do not, as a Cowboy fan, think you have a realistic playoff shot here. You have to win 6 of the last 8 games to even be thought of in the discussion. And we know what the gauntlet is coming up. Now, 6 of 8, I don't think that's possible. And if you
No.
really want to get in is 7 of 8 to
7.
get the
Yeah.
10 wins.
Right.
And I just let's not put that out there, Cowboy fans. Let's not wish in a prayer that to be true. If it happens, let's just enjoy it. But let's not put let's not put the expectation that it's going to happen. But um, obviously, we are what we are. We're 3, 5, and 1 through the first 9 games.
Yeah,
And
you are what your record says you are.
yeah,
And
Bill Parcells.
that's right. And I 100% agree with you. I'm not going to say 0% chance cuz that'd be foolish. It's like a 2% shot that they can go 6-8 or 6-2 or realistically you're right. It's really 7-1. They got to win 7 of 8 to get in.
Yeah.
And that's a tall task with that schedule.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, Cowboy fans. But hey, there's always next year, right? All right. So let's move into a segment that Nick's very proud of. He had a fantastic week last week.
You are what your
He,
record says you are, baby.
well, that's true. And let's go ahead and move into Nick's picks. Maestro, hit the theme music.
Yeah,
All
man,
right,
what a
Nick.
week. What a week. We went 4-0 last week. This is now 3 consecutive upsets that we've hit. It's hard not to feel good being 8-4 at this point. After 3 weeks of Nick's picks. We'll just get right into it here with next week's
Wait,
pick.
you're burying the lead. You went 4-0, man.
Yeah,
You
4-0.
you got to spike the ball a little bit.
I think any gambler will tell you that's very dangerous because you're going to go 0-4 real quick. But I will say this because it needs to be said that
You hate Joe Flacco.
it's exactly where I was going. If not for, and look, to be fair to Joe Flacco, man, they did everything they could to win that game on offense. You saw the Jamar Chase stuff. You saw the Chase Brown stuff. Those boys are just totally done with that defense. But Caleb Williams and that offense, man, to score a touchdown when all they needed was a field goal. You talk about bad beats to cover that line. There are so many that's that real true half the people in the world just the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat in that moment. So yeah, I mean, I think that one was really good. The Buffalo pick, it's the regular season, right? Josh Allen owns Patrick Mahomes in the regular season.
Yeah.
So I always kind of felt really good about that one. But the one that really surprised me, to be totally honest, because I expected it to be the over, was the Seattle-Washington game. And you talked about it a little bit earlier, but man, Seattle looks for real. They almost covered the over by themselves. Just an absolute clinic.
What a terrible injury too to Jaden
Oh,
Daniels.
yeah.
It's like the RG3
Right.
curse and playing out again, and
All
I
over
just
again.
hate that. I hate that for them, and I hope he comes back and is great next year. But what a gruesome injury. So
Yeah, and I
what are
hate
your
that.
picks this week? Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you're fine. I was just going to say I hate that for Dan Quinn, just because Dan Quinn, I think, is such a good coach. He's a player's coach. Guys seem to really like playing for him, and I think he's getting a lot of heat right now, maybe rightfully so, but just hate it for Jane Daniels, hate it for Dan Quinn. But yeah, let's get into the next set of 4-0s that we got coming. So let's start with the upset, right? Like I said, we're 3 in a row upset specials. The upset special, for those of you that haven't been following along, is just the money line. It's the pick, it's not the spread, and it's the underdog. And so this week, my money line pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Los Angeles Chargers.
Where's that game at?
That game is in Los Angeles.
Okay. So you're
So I
picking
like
them to go on the road and win.
Yep, that's right. And I'm going to stay in that game too, because I also like the under in that game. To me, this is a really, really juicy line. The over under right now is 45. This is Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh, two, real blue collar type offenses. I know they've tried to open it up with Herbert just a little bit, but I think the under hits here. I think the over is going to get a lot of play. My prediction would be that if you wait just a little bit, this over is going to continue to climb by a few points. I think the
Mhm.
under is going to get a lot of play, so you'll continue to see that move. I'm sorry, I think the over will get a lot of play, so I think that line's going to move. But if you can be patient on that, I really feel like that's a strong game for the under. So you've got the money line, Pittsburgh. You've got the under, Pittsburgh, LA. The next one we got is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. The
Mm.
Eagles are a plus 2.5 underdog. So the spread is the Eagles plus 2.5. I think the Eagles win that game outright, but I'll definitely take the 2.5 points. Philly
So
to beat Green
basically,
Bay.
it's a pick 'em game, right? Because Green Bay's
I
getting
think
2.5 points at home,
that's right. Green Bay's getting two
and
and a half points at home.
the way they're playing right now, um, are we rooting for Philly in this game as a Cowboy fan so that the pick goes higher? Are we
You
rooting for
have to.
Green Bay? How do you split that one?
No, you have to root for Philly because you need the pick to be higher. So as much as it's the only time I will ever root for Philly is if it helps Dallas get in the playoffs or if it increases the draft capital. So yeah, I like Philly here plus 2.5. And then your last one is the Houston Texans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is in Houston, and Houston is only a 1 point favorite. CJ
Is it?
Stroud is
Yeah.
CJ Stroud is catching a heater right now. The guy looks absolutely amazing. I mean, moving in
But
the
he got knocked
pocket,
out of the
moving.
last game. He got knocked out with a concussion. Is he going to play in this game? Is the question. Is that why the line's so small? Because we're not
It
sure if Stroud's going to clear protocol?
it could be. I think there's something to be said for that. And again, we talked about this before with the Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields game with the Jets against the Bengals. The original I hate Joe Flacco game. Um, I don't think it matters. I think Houston. It's a division game. Houston against Jacksonville kind of always default to the home team there. You said it with Green Bay, right? They're only getting 1 point at home. So, what does that really mean? But I think Houston's playing really well. The defense, man, Anderson is just an absolute monster on the defensive end. So I like Houston to cover that -1 right there.
Wow. So whether it's Davis Mills or Stroud, they're going to cover.
Yep,
Okay. All right. Well, that's Nick's picks. Hopefully you can go 4-0. Now, look, this is for entertainment purposes
that's
only.
right.
So don't blame Nick if you bet the house and you lose. So we
Yeah.
didn't talk about your how good you feel about it. Is it a 20? Is it a 50? Is it $100 bet? Which one of those is the one you feel most confident about?
Yeah, the one that I feel the highest level of certainty that I have here is Philly plus 2.5 over Green Bay. Um, I'm a little confused, just to be totally honest. I mean, I think the way that these two teams have looked in the last couple of weeks couldn't be much different. I mean, couldn't be any different, more different. Philly has looked like they're getting better and better and better. Green Bay seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. Um, I don't know where this is coming from. So I feel by far the most confident with Philly plus 2.5 over Green Bay.
So you're going to put a hefty wager on that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 60% of my weekly roll on
Okay.
Green Bay and Philly.
All right, there you have it. I hope you get rich, guys. I mean, not. It's for entertainment purposes only. I forgot.
That's right. That's right.
Wager responsibly. All right, that's gonna do it for Nick's picks. Let's stay with the NFL and let's talk about who we feel like the best teams are in the NFC and the AFC. If you've been following, you know that I felt it was the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. Maestro had Tampa Bay and Kansas City last week and the week before, and Nick had Detroit and Buffalo.
Yep.
So Nick, who are you going with now through this week's action? Who do you think's the best team in the NFC and the best team in the AFC? Your Super Bowl favorites.
So I'm going to stay in the AFC first, just because that doesn't change for me. It's still Buffalo. I don't think anything about the game against Kansas City would give you any pause to think that would be different. Kansas City, who had been a lot of teams' picks, is now 5-4, which is just an insane stat to me. If you look at the other two lost teams in the AFC, you've got the Broncos, the Colts, and the Patriots. Although the Patriots look very, very good and have already beaten Buffalo, I still like Buffalo better. So in the AFC, I'll go Buffalo. And in the NFC, man, it's really tough. And you said earlier that that was enough of the Eagles talk. And I hate to say it, but it's hard for me to be to just be objective, and it's hard for me not to say that Philly, especially with the upgrades they just made in the trade deadline, that Philly's not the best team in the NFC.
Wow. Okay. I think for me, I mean, you talked about the Chiefs being 5-4, and if you look it up real quick, I don't know what their odds are to go to the Super Bowl, let alone win it, but I bet they're still pretty high, which is probably crazy, right? I will agree that I don't think right now you can put them. They got 4 losses, and that's shocking, right? Um, the Broncos are 7-2. The Chargers are 6-3, and they're ahead of them in the division. So, obviously, we feel like they can catch those two teams and still win their division, right? You don't feel like the division is out of reach for the Chiefs,
No,
right?
they are still the favorite in the Super Bowl odds somehow.
Right, and that's the eye test. And Luke's saying the same thing. Maestro is showing me the odds. He's like, the Chiefs are still the favorite, right, in the
Yeah, it's
AFC.
insane. It's insane.
And that's the Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes
Yep.
factor, right?
Yep.
So I do agree that Buffalo, looks really strong. Patriots, I'm not 100% sold on. The funniest thing about the Patriots is they're 4-0 on the road, and they're 3-2 at home, which is a little crazy.
Yeah,
But
young team.
so you don't really know. And then you got the Steelers, who I'm not sold on. The Ravens are going to have to fight to really get back in it, but they still can. Colts, I don't know what to say about the Colts. Honestly, I like the fact that they feel like they're going all in and they've got a chance here. Um, you know, but I wouldn't put them as the best team. I think I'm gonna have to say for me, it's really a toss up in the AFC between the Chiefs and the Bills for me. But
Yep.
I'm gonna go crazy here and stick with the Chiefs because my eyes know what I've seen and what I am currently seeing and how it's gelling. Now, I thought the Chiefs might make a trade to bolster their run game today. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
really do that, so I'm a little disappointed in that. But in the NFC, hmm, I this if you say, Jeff, look with your eyes, not with your emotions. My emotions want me to say Tampa Bay, but my eyes tell me Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Wow.
I feel like in the NFC right now, I would put Seattle, Philly, and Tampa in the same sentence. And Detroit drop down a notch because somebody needs to let Detroit know they have Jahmyr Gibbs on their team. I
Yeah.
mean, how do you have a weapon like that and barely use him? And same with Jamison Williams. I feel like they don't use them enough. So I'm getting a little frustrated with them. Maybe they do miss Ben Johnson. So I'm gonna
No.
change from Detroit and I'm gonna say Seattle Seahawks right now in the NFC with Philly, Tampa, and Detroit and Green Bay. That if they would round out my top group. Maestro, what do you say? Chiefs and Rams. Okay, Luke is staying with
Ooh,
the Chiefs. Did you hear him off
I
mic?
heard that. Yeah, I heard the second one. The Chiefs
And the
isn't. Yeah.
Los Angeles Rams. So
Wow.
Devontae Adams finally gets a ring, says Luke.
Yeah.
Says Maestro. Now, I can't believe Stafford's not more in the MVP discussion. I think he's
He's
like 22 touchdowns and 2 picks or something.
yeah, number 2 in PFF ranking right now, only behind Sam Darnold in terms of quarterback play this season.
Hold on a second. What's that, Maestro?
I'm saying Puka's been in and out this season and still got those stats.
Yeah, Puka Nakua has been in and out of the lineup, but Stafford's still balling. So Maestro goes with the Rams, not the Bucks, and the Chiefs. I think we're on the same wavelength with the Chiefs. Nick has Philly.
Yeah. I don't love it either.
It hurts
I
me.
know.
Hurts me to
I
say it.
know. I know.
And Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the Rams pick. That's nice. I like that.
All right. So there you have it. That's who we think the front runners are for the Super Bowl. Now it's time for the segment we all love. It's What's Killing Jeff. Maestro. Okay. What's killing Jeff? I bet you can't guess what's killing Jeff.
We've been all over the place, right? We had dog drool, and we had nobody knows how to argue anymore. We had being a Dallas sports fan. So you're keeping us on our toes here.
Well, to be fair, it's why can't we just disagree without the hate? That was the first one, right?
I better, but yeah.
Okay, this is the one that I hate. What's killing me right now? This one probably doesn't apply to many people, but for us bald people, for those of us that don't have hair, we're follically challenged. I wish my hair would go away and I never have to shave my head. What's killing me is shaving my head and dealing with that and getting the razor burn sometimes on my scalp. But just the care that we have to give our bald heads, and this is why it's not just the hair part. I was putting up my Christmas lights on
Oh no.
Sunday. And I pay someone to do it, but he came by himself and I felt terrible for him. So I said, I'll help you. And I was out there all day with him. And guess what happened to the top of my head?
Sunburn.
I got a sunburn. In November in Dallas, it's crazy, right? It was
Wait a
warm.
minute.
The sun.
Hold on. So
Yeah.
does that mean you're gonna have a tan on your head?
Well, eventually, right now I'll have a burn, and eventually it'll become a tan. But what's killing me is the fact that, man, you got to make sure you have proper lotion on your head. You got to make sure you shave it. I shave now probably, I was shaving like 2 to 3 times a week my head. Now it's once a week. And if it starts growing back and I don't like it, I just throw a hat on, right? And go to work with a hat on. But I'll tell you this, it's just the fact that I can't grow any hair on the top of my head. I would have one of those George Jefferson
The cul-de-sacs.
yeah, I'd have one of those, man. I'd be looking like George Jefferson. If you don't know that, that's from the Jeffersons, you young people.
Philip Banks will probably be a little more
Philip
relatable.
Banks, George Jefferson. I'd have one of those. Dr. Phil's. Which
the cul-de-sac, man, classic look.
Yeah, but for us bald people, and if you're bald out there, you know what I'm talking about. I know people have said get laser removal, do all that. That's too high maintenance for me. I don't want to do that. I guess I don't have the right to complain if I'm not willing to do that. But what's killing me is not being able to grow hair. Really, what's killing me is I wish I could not grow hair all over my head and would just be bald and I wouldn't have to maintain it. So,
couldn't you get a piece?
No, man. No, I've been shaving my head since 1993. Back then I had hair and could still grow it, but now I can't. So I've been shaving it for a long, long time. Nobody should get a hair piece. Nobody. I know that John Cena recently got his bald spot fixed.
Yep.
But when your whole head is a bald spot, you don't really need to worry about getting a hair piece.
Okay.
And hey, guys out there, if you have a hair piece, we know. We can tell. It's not fooling anybody. We can tell. Now, if you go do what Dion did and all those guys, maybe that'll fool some people. But I've seen some people that are bald that get the fake shaved look like they're like Doc Rivers.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a penciled in hair like it's fake. It's not really hair. It's like, I don't know if it's tattooed or what it is, colored or.
Yeah, it's basically tattooed. My old Barbie does it actually. She stopped doing cutting hair and now she only, I think it's called micro scalp. Super popular, man. So, a lot of people go that way now.
But it still looks terrible. You know it does. I'm not, hey, I don't, there's no shame in my game. I can't grow it. I don't fake it. I just own it, right? And I know last night during the live we were talking about who has a bigger forehead, me or Peyton Manning or who was
Bleeker.
the other one? Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith, or Peyton Manning. And so, but my whole head is a forehead because I don't have any hair. So anyway, that's what's killing Jeff for this week is having to take care of my bald head and all the pains that come with that. So thank you for listening to What's Killing Jeff. Okay. Now, a little update on our Spurs versus Mavericks bet.
That's what I've been waiting for, baby.
This is not looking good. I guess Nick's lip's going to be bald because he's not going to have to grow a mustache. We're off to a rocky start here.
That's right.
The Mavericks are 2-5. And
second
the Spurs,
worst team in the West.
Take it easy. And the Spurs are 5-1.
That's right. Second best team in the West.
Okay. Now, I at the NBA preview show was concerned about the Mavericks in 3 ways, right? One was the health of the team. Could they stay healthy? And they have not stayed healthy. You have Lively out. You have AD out. And even Cooper Flag's a little banged up as he's playing through it.
Yep.
That was number one reason to be worried, and that's proven to be true. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number 2 was the point guard play until Kyrie Irving gets back, right? And it's been dreadful. Too many turnovers. It's been better lately. They played the Rockets pretty close last night, and but they didn't pull it off, right? PJ Washington played out of his mind last night. But here's the thing. It's awful to watch. It's been rough with the turnovers, the point guard play, the ball handling. We can't get any cohesiveness on offense, which was the third thing. Is what's the cohesiveness going to be like on offense? Not just the point guard play, but the role players, how they're going to come in. Are they going to gel or not? And it clearly hasn't yet. And so that has led us to a 2-5 record. Now, to remind everybody the bet is if the Spurs finish ahead of the Mavericks, I have to put the 2025-2026 Spurs team picture in a prominent spot in my office for all to see for a month, right? Now, if the Mavs beat the Spurs in the standings, then Nick has to grow a real big, thick, bushy, welcome back Cotter, Tom Selleck, Dr. Phil, who's also bald, big old mustache, and wear it for a month. Now, you have to grow it out and then keep it for a month, not grow it out. So I'm concerned through 7 games. I like to take the NBA in 10 to 20 game chunks. The first 7 games were 2-5 and not gelling and not getting great point guard play. And we're wishing, begging, and hoping for Kyrie to come back sooner rather than later.
I will tell you right now, when we get to the 41 game mark, when we get to the halfway point of the season, I'm going to give you an out. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you the out now. I'm going to give you a chance to think about it. The out's going to be 2 weeks with the Spurs poster. We're going to reset it. We're going to stick with the mustache. And then I want 7 days with the piece.
What?
That's going to be the upgraded terms. That's going to be the updated terms.
I'm not wearing a hairpiece. I would never do that. Plus, there's 75 games left, Nick.
Yeah.
Just take it easy, man. It's not, there's a long way to go. And we know that as that, weird spaceship is heading to Earth, I said Atlas 331, but it's 3I or whatever it is. That's the spaceship coming home to get Wemby or coming here to get Wemby to take him back home. And who knows what part of the NBA season will be when that spaceship arrives to take Wemby home. I think they're coming to pick up Wemby, Dennis Rodman, and maybe Nancy Pelosi.
Oh Lord!
And take
Oh,
him
you had to
back
go Pelosi, huh?
and take him back there because I'm not concerned, like ready to do that kind of desperate stuff with you're talking about. I don't need a hairpiece now. I think we'll get it turned around, and then the Spurs will actually start playing some people, and they'll start losing, and they're going to start getting dinged up. Wemby's probably not going to make it through the first 25 games without something happening. So I'm not too concerned yet, but I am a little concerned. The Cooper Flag development is in process. The speed of the game, the physicality of the game has gotten the best of him so far. But I like what my eyes see with Cooper Flag because the shooting will come, but the defense, he's handling the pressure okay, as far as not the ball pressure, but the pressure of being in the NBA. So I'm gonna give you a few minutes to talk glowingly about the alien and the Spurs.
Yeah, here's what I'll say, and I think
Oh,
it's
we're out of time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You mentioned Cooper Flag. Here's the crazy thing. The Spurs have had a tremendous run of luck with the ping pong balls. You got Wemby, you got Steph Castle, you got Carter Bryant. When I'm sitting watching the draft lottery and it's between Dallas and San Antonio for the number 1 pick, I was devastated that the balls fell the way that they did because now not only did San Antonio not get Cooper Flag, but he ends up in Dallas. Terrible. Full on NBA collusion. The corruption is there. There's no doubt about it. But lo and behold, the ping pong balls were good to us again because Dylan Harper is clearly the better NBA player today. He will be the rookie of the year this year.
He's hurt. He's hurt, right, dude.
He'll be back soon enough. It's a low strain. The Spurs always take it slow with these guys. He will be the rookie of the year, and Dylan Harper will have a better NBA career than Cooper Flag.
Oh.
The NBA ping pong balls have been great to the San Antonio Spurs yet again.
Now, there's a joke in there with the Spurs and the balls and all that stuff, but I'm not going to leave it there. There's no way Dylan Harper's going to have a better career than Cooper Flag. That's outrageous, man. Now you're talking nonsense. I think if you want to say the guy in Philadelphia, Edgecombe,
VJ Edgecombe, yeah,
that might be something that I would be concerned about if you said that, but not Dylan Harper. Come on, man. That's a bold take, and that would take, I would put a wager on that, but that could be 10 years, 12 years down the line. So I think that's totally ridiculous. You saying he's going to be better than Cooper Flag.
He is better now.
No. Cooper Flag is not even shaving yet. He's 19, 18 years old, man.
So is Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is 19.
I know, but I'll say this. I know Dylan Harper is the son of Ron Harper.
Yep.
I understand that. But I think that I'm not going to say, a lot of people comparing Cooper Flag to Larry Bird and stuff like that. That's too early, right? You can't do that. But what we've seen from Cooper Flag, we understand that he has nobody on the team setting him up for the shots he needs to take. He's having to, think about the team right now. It's like we got to watch D'Lo jack shots a little bit, although he's playing better than I thought he would. And every night it's a different Maverick that's going to, go off. PJ Washington, Max Christie, and Klay Thompson can't find it right now as far as he can't hit the ocean with his jump shot right now. And I don't know if it's Megan Thee Stallion issue or if it's if it's the haircut issue, but Klay in preseason was hitting shots. Now all of a sudden he's not hitting shots. So maybe he's being rushed, but we're not in sync offensively, and he's still doing okay. But when he gets in sync with the team, or when he gets a true point guard that can set him up for better shots, it's all she wrote for Dylan Harper in that discussion because Dylan
the
Harper is
shock
going to be a good player, but not better than Cooper Flag.
Here's the shocking thing to me that you don't. Here's what's missing you right now a little bit. In the history of the Spurs and the Mavericks organizations, if you give me the all-time great point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center for the Dallas Mavericks, there is not a single position that they win against the San Antonio Spurs. Dylan Harper,
Luka can play all those, and the one that he can't, Dirk can. So we already win.
Wait a minute. You can't give the guy that's going to spend more time in another city than yours. That
you
doesn't
said right
count.
now.
No. All time.
Great. He was a Maverick. So all time.
No. And to be
totally
okay, you know what? Let's count Luka. Career right now, through their career, Tony Parker's career over Luka Doncic's career. Not even close.
No.
Not even close.
Well, if you're only counting championships, but you can't look at the stats and say that with a straight face.
Tony Parker had an NBA Finals MVP. How many of those has Luka's got?
He's only been there one time. So
did he win?
No, he didn't win, but he carried the team on his back there. So Tony Parker didn't do that. He rode the coattails of Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili. So don't give me that nonsense about Tony Parker better career than Luka. I might kick you off the podcast for that statement right there. That's terrible. Know better than that.
There are very few basketball people that are going to agree with your take. I'm just telling you right now.
What?
Luka
is way better than Tony Parker as a player.
You're projecting.
No. Versatility alone gets him there. He can play all 4 of the 5 positions. Tony Parker can play 2. Luka
Doncic only plays one side of the ball.
That's all he needs to play. It's kind of like the Cowboys, right? That's what I'm saying. Even Luka playing half the game and not really playing defense, better than Tony Parker.
Right now, to date.
If you give people a choice, do you want Luka or Tony Parker? They're taking Luka.
No. Okay. If that's the question, just projecting out careers, sure. Luka, assuming he stays healthy, by the time it's all said and done, will have had a better career than Parker. But right now, today,
I can't wait till we go live with this because you're going to get killed with this.
Tony Parker's career through Luka's first part of his career, what he's done so far, Tony Parker over Luka, and it's not close.
Oh, my gosh.
Because of the championship?
The Spurs were a team.
Career.
You had Tim Duncan. You had Manu Ginobili. You had all these role players. Tony Parker Tony Parker was a great player, but he's not on Luka's level. He's not an all-time great. No way.
The international success that France had compared to the international success that Luka's had isn't even close either. So
I can't even let you make that argument. That's asinine. Do you know how many people from Luka's hometown play basketball? I mean, let's do this. Let's do this. You take Tony Parker and put him on the Mavs team that went to the finals. They don't go to the finals.
Oh, you're talking about when it was just Luka. You're talking about when it was just Luka.
Yes, the most recent finals team.
I got you.
But if you put Luka on the Spurs team that you had, my gosh, they would have more championships. And so you can't come at me with that nonsense and expect me to take you seriously as a basketball guy. That's too much with your heart, bro. That's not head. Listen, I'm one of the people that said I could understand trading Luka, but I can't get with that nonsense that you're spewing about Tony Parker having right now. If you just take their first few years of Luka and the same first few years of Tony Parker, that anyone would take Tony Parker over Luka Doncic. That's crazy. We're going to ask ChatGPT of that, and they'll probably say, "New phone, who dis?" for that kind of question.
I still don't like Luka as the all-time great Mavericks point guard. He was there for 5 seasons? I don't even think that should count, first of all.
Now you're arguing semantics. You're backing away from your Tony Parker.
No, I'm not. I also want to be clear. I was saying all of Parker's career to Doncic's career to date.
Well, that's not fair.
Not even.
Now, you're doing the moonwalk. You're doing the moonwalk backwards.
I thought clear.
Now you're sidestepping. You're doing the Euro step around this issue.
No, you misunderstood what I said to begin with.
We can roll it back. We understood what you said. I'll say this: we better. What other asinine things are you going to say about the Spurs?
Well, Duncan way better than Dirk career. That's not close. I couldn't even tell you who the all-time center for the
Not
Mavericks
close.
is. Not close. Oh, it's not
Okay.
close.
Okay.
It's not even close. You would have to have. I don't even know. I guess Dirk was a better all-around scorer. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you that. I guess.
Duncan was way better defensively
and way more impactful to the team. He made people around him significantly better.
Yeah, I think Duncan is better. I don't think it's not even close better. I think there's a discussion to be had. But again, you guys rigged that ping pong ball to fall for you. David Robinson, they tanked that whole season because they knew Tim Duncan was the prize. They tried to do it this year, like you said. They wanted Cooper Flagg. Man, the alien with Cooper Flagg, that's all they wanted, and they thought they had it. And I'll never forget that night when we're sitting here texting, and I said, the Spurs' dominance of ping pong balls is over. And that's the way it went.
I thought you were right. And now I know that Dylan Harper is better than Cooper Flagg, so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
All right, look, we're out of time on the Dead Jeff Show for this episode. Look, we thank you. We thank you for listening to us. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. Please go give us a review. We're new at this. We're finding our way, but we love to interact with the followers. But listen, I apologize for Nick. I think he might be drunk on today's podcast. Maybe the elves helped him put up the Christmas tree, gave him too much eggnog. But we had a great time. What an exciting NFL trade deadline day. And hopefully this will be one stepping stone to build on for the Cowboys. But we're glad you joined us. Thank you very much. Peace out. We'll see you next time.